DestinationMarc.
Hey guys, how's it going? Marcelo here. Being a completely different type of multiplayer Crash game than we're used to, Crash Team Rumble has the potential to stand out against its racing and partying siblings and become a pretty darn good spin-off in its own right. But for that to happen, there are a few things I feel need to be implemented. 5 things, that is, and today I want to talk a bit about each of them. So without further ado, these are my top 5 hopes for Crash Team Rumble. Number 5. Strong online connectivity. What would a good online multiplayer game be without, well, good online connectivity? The first and up till now only Crash game to implement this was CTR Nitro. And while at first there were definitely some rocky issues, the game was consistently patched and improved on. The connectivity itself was actually always very strong. Even if you could phase through racers and missiles sometimes had trouble tracking opponents, there were absolutely no issues with frame rate or button input lag. Rumble will have to be this stable as well to not only feel great to play, but to be fun to play. Now, Nitro did have one crippling issue. Its PS4 servers were accessible on PS5, but if PS5 users did certain things like skip the track cutscenes, the races would never start and everyone in the lobby would get kicked out. Thankfully, Rumble's been confirmed to be cross-platform, but I hope this doesn't cause those same issues or any of the other aforementioned ones, since this means more people can connect to the same matches on different consoles. I have faith in Toys for Bob providing some strong servers, but they'll have to do a lot of testing to make sure they're stable and strong. Number 4. No microtransactions and a balanced upgrade/ranking system. Activision has a sneaky tendency to make devs implement microtransactions into their games. Again, Nitro had this, but thankfully the overall game wasn't updated to depend on them, and they were thoroughly shoved off to a little side tab in the pit stop that, honestly, I still forget is there. The very act of a Crash game going down this route, however, was so jarring that when Crash 4 was being shown off, Lou had to assure fans that the skins for Crash and Coco were earnable strictly via in-game means.
And just to be clear, there's no MTX here. Skins are earned by completing different challenges and earning gems within levels.
There's always the chance that Rumble could very well go back down this path, so I'm hoping it doesn't, and instead Toys for Bob focus on fast, easy, and creative ways to allow players to grab and buy goodies with in-game currency. With this in mind, I also want to talk about character upgrades and rankings. You'll likely be able to upgrade your roster of characters in certain modes, and be able to go up in rankings as you play online. Splatoon and other shooters and Battle Royale games have this, but their systems for judging where to categorize you and your skill level aren't always the best. I don't have a whole lot of experience with this since I don't usually play online games with those intricate systems, so I'll just play a short clip from Game Grumps G Club podcast on Splatoon 2's ranking system, just for example.
Your rank in League is dependent on who you are paired with. So if Aaron, if you and I are playing League together, and you have to do 7 matches to get your rank, which is kind of like placements in Overwatch or a lot of other games, then you get your rank, and you can go up the tier, you can go down the tier. It felt completely random to me because I was playing ranked, and I was winning a bunch, losing a bunch, and I managed to just squeeze past out of C- into C, and the game explodes with all these graphics, and it's like, you leveled up a fuck ton, and it just jumped me right up to B-. So I crawled out of C-, and I should have gone to C, and then I had to work my way up to C+, and then all the way to B-, and the game went, no, you're good enough, go to B-. I'm like, the fact that it took me this long to get out of C-, and then the game was like, yeah, you're good enough for B+. I'm like, there's something wrong with your game.
This is the type of stuff I hope Rumble can get right, so fingers crossed that it can. Number 3. A healthy roster of characters. Speaking of your characters, I hope we get to see many more fan favorites redesigned in the Crash 4 art style. There's no doubt we'll see characters like Ripperoo and Papu Papu, since there's been artwork out for them, but they had little to no appearances in Crash 4, but I'm hoping we can see even more characters like Tiny, Pinstripe, Oxide, maybe even as many as you can bring in from Nitro like Yaya Panda, Von Clutch and Pasadena, Zem and Zem. Hell, even characters we wanted to see in Nitro that never made it in, like Evil Crash and Coco, Madame Amberly, and more. When you've got such an enormous cast of characters to choose from that both Nitro and Crash on the Run have acknowledged, there are so many possibilities for more of these guys to have some time in the spotlight. And of course, Cat Badge led the way for more newcomers to the franchise to make their official debut, so I also hope they can have enough time to shine as well, and fans can hopefully take kindly to them and really grow to like them. Number 2. Plenty of game modes. One of the biggest complaints I've seen about Rumble so far is that the marketing seems to be pushing only one thing: nab as much Wumpa Fruit as you can and take them back to your goal to win. Now this would be a great introductory mode to ease us into how Rumble works, but of course if this were the only mode the game had, it'd get boring pretty fast. I have no doubt we'll get all kinds of different modes, but my hope is that they're all varied and, of course, fun. I couldn't really take a guess as to what modes those would be. I don't know, your classic multiplayer stuff like King of the Hill, Horde mode, or Team Deathmatch. I just hope whatever else we can do in the game will be just as invigorating as the main mode. There is one mode I do want to see, however, and I've mentioned it in the last few Rumble videos I've done, and that is... Number 1, Story Mode. I really want to see a full-blown story mode that explains everything that's going on here. I want to know why everyone's competing in the first place, who brought them all here, maybe Catbat, and whether there's even a villain here or not. I've said it before, but I'll say it again, these cutscenes in Rumble's reveal trailer are awesome, and I'd definitely like to see more of these. Plus, every other Crash spin-off has had a story to it, even Crash Boom Bang. So if we get an awesome single or two-player story mode that gives us more comedy, more nice interactions between characters, and more plot than even Crash 4 gave us, while making the stakes feel big and epic, I think that would be amazing. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more Crash Team Rumble videos, you know what you gotta do. I'm Mark, I'll see you guys later, and until next time, take care.